This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, welcome on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Hey, it is Monday, the brand new work week. Welcome on, welcome all to 10:30 here, the brand new work week. And boy, was it a change pace here out the door this morning. My goodness. Coolest conditions we've had around here in quite some time and for the past couple of months. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason, hyping up the fall-like weather. I had the windows down on my drive around the ArkLaTex yesterday here for your Sunday. It was phenomenal. I will say today, warming up a little more than what we had out the door here for your Sunday, but overall, I think our 90-degree days are past us. It's good. We're in the clear. We've had fake fall. We've had these fronts hang around for like a day or two with cooler air, and then we've been back to 90 degrees throughout most of last week, for example. The point is, we do have a good amount of sunshine here for this work week, but we actually have consistent rounds and supplies of cooler air that are helping to suppress our temperatures and actually keep us where we should be in fall. It's October 20th now. Let's get it going, actually, here into the ArkLaTex. All right, we're getting further into football season. Hey, basketball right around the corner. Pelicans game on KSLA News 12 coming up Wednesday. Also, shout out to that. That's on Wednesday at 7 p.m., all right? So that'll be cool for you on a little bit later on this week. But as for us on the First Alert Weather Breakdown, yeah, we are hyping up fall here over the next couple days. Now, with that cooler supply of air, what we have coming in is a little bit of consistent cold fronts coming in as well, which you know what that usually means. Yes, rain. We're going to talk about it on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. I don't think it's anything too worrisome. I'm not dealing with any major severe weather threats, for example. I don't even think today all the way through the next week or so, which is good. But that doesn't mean that rain will come regardless. So essentially what I'm trying to get is rain will come. I think we got little rain chances here and there through a good portion of this work week coming up for you. But it's little rain chances, just small ones. And I should see that severe weather risk pretty low with the next several systems that we have coming up, at least through the next week. Beyond that, we'll see exactly what happens. But anyways, let's get into what we're going over here for the day today. Here's your topics. It is a temperature roller coaster. I know I've just hyped up the cool fall-like temperatures all around, but overall, especially in the mornings, our temperatures are going up and down like crazy around here. Tomorrow morning, for example, is much warmer than this morning, even though we got much cooler for this morning after a warm Sunday morning. The point is, temperatures are all over the place. We'll go over that a little more thoroughly in just a little bit. As for tomorrow, that's our next chance of rain back in the ArkLaTex. That's the next round that we're going to be tracking to keep you first alert about and giving you full details here on this First Alert with a breakdown. And also, for exclusive content here for the day today, we got your First Alert eye on the tropics. Now, real quick on the tropics, I'll introduce this more a little bit later, but it's October 20th. It got like a week to 2 weeks left of the peak of the season, if that. I know the season technically lasts until the end of November, but things are looking good overall. I wouldn't say we're completely out of the clear. In fact, we do have one area of interest that we're going to be tracking on today's episode and seeing where that goes, as that's likely to be forming and becoming. The next name on the list is Melissa. So watch out for that system there. All right, let's get into it. Hey, First Alert with a breakdown. Heading on into your Mattress Plus Skycam, out into Shreveport here at this hour here for you. Beautiful blue skies and sunshine. Glad to see that back after we had a cloudy day back last Friday. A little bit of some cloud cover around. Remember that humidity got to us, especially by Saturday morning. But it's a nice feel for yourself on the way out the door. But, hey, this day is going to be impressive, not just because of the sunshine and blue skies, but also because of the temperature outlook. I mentioned a temperature roller coaster. We'll be talking about that in a little bit, and this sunshine is certainly going to help us out in that regard. Here's a look at your Window World Skycam into Texarkana. Beautiful blue skies also there, and plentiful sunshine. That is good to see. Not a cloud in the sky. All right, so here for the day today, we did have a cold Monday morning. I'm going to start to change this weather headline as I'm doing the noon show again today. I'm going to definitely change this weather headline as tomorrow morning, again, certainly much warmer. We're warming ourselves up immensely here into this afternoon, leading into the cold front that comes through here for tomorrow that brings us our next chance of rain. Now, it's going to be a low chance of rain. Not everybody's going to see it as well, so I'll explain a little bit more on that in the future track coming on up for you, but essentially what I'm trying to get is today, completely dry for anybody. Next chance you can get for rain is tomorrow. For the weekend, though, that's our next major chance of rain. What I mean by major is affecting everybody around the ArkLaTex. That's likely to come back in sometime around this coming weekend. Yes, I know, weekend again, weekend rain. Hey, at least Sunday, yesterday, that was fantastic. And I don't think the whole weekend's going to be a washout by any means, but it's another weekend where we could deal with another major round of storms coming on by. We'll go over that future track here in just a little bit. Now, as we typically do in the first alert weather breakdown, let's go first over the temperatures, which, oh man, all over the place. Let's go with the current temperatures out right now. 68 in Texarkana, 66 in Shreveport, 64 in Minden, 60 in DeQueen. As you see, there's no colors in the background. I don't know why. My weather graphics have been quite finicky all morning long with the contours, the colors of the what you should be seeing on this background here. Usually is some color, and obviously that's not working here at this time. Maybe the cool temperature shut it off. I don't know. Anyways, moving on into the big picture, what's coming up here temperature-wise over the next 48 hours. Again, some wild temperature swings. We're mainly keeping you first alert about a cold front that's way off to the north and west. But this is going to come racing down here for tomorrow, giving us our next chance of rain here for tomorrow. But it also gives us rapid temperature swings. First of all, high pressure systems off to our east. This is what's keeping us dry here. This is what kept us dry yesterday. It was right on top of us yesterday. Now it's moving slightly to the east, and it's going to continue to move eastward as we continue on throughout the day today. But if you look at the circulation around this high pressure system, anytime you find yourself on the west side of a high pressure system, you are getting winds out of the south, winds coming out from, say, Houston, Lake Charles, and out of the Gulf, coming into the ArkLaTex, which builds on A, humidity, and builds on B, heat, warmth, warmer air, essentially, surging into the ArkLaTex, and that is going to really impressively drag our temperatures up to be incredibly warm, actually, here for the day today, in front of the cold front that hits, and that cold supply that will be back in store here for us tomorrow, specifically in the morning hours. More on that in just a minute, but before I talk about highs today, just so you know, the actual recorded morning lows this morning were in the upper 40s and lower 50s. Shreveport, for example, had a morning low of 50 degrees, 50, and yet we still find ourselves with temperatures in the mid-80s here for this afternoon. If you do the math on that, that's about a 30 to 40 degree temperature increase within a day. That's actually incredible because we're waking up to, say, like sweater weather, and yet we're dealing with actually temperatures in the mid-80s here for the day today, which I know what you're thinking, Evan. You're like, this is not sweater weather. This isn't fall-like. Well, this only lasts for a day. Again, cold front tomorrow will be cooler then. 86 in Texarkana, 86 in DeKalb. The warmest spots of the ArkLaTex are out into Gilmer and Mount Pleasant, 86 and 87 out towards there. 86 for Marshall, 85 in the center. A little cooler, just a touch cooler into spots in northwest Louisiana. 84 in Shreveport, 81 in Bienville, 82 into Homer. Next 5 days, there's that cold front that comes by there for your Tuesday, cooling us off to a high of around 80 degrees for you then. And that remains pretty streamlined here for the rest of the work week. So again, today, hottest day of the work week. Rest of the week, I think we're a lot more reasonable. Upper 70s, lower 80s. At least trying to smooth ourselves a little bit in the fall. But the point is, hey, no more 90-degree days. We dealt with that all last week. That's not a thing this week at all. If anything, it might be a thing today, but next couple of days it really isn't. All right, here's the actual roller coaster part that I've been talking about with our morning temperatures. Remember this morning? Again, temperatures down to 50 degrees this morning at Shreveport. Tomorrow morning, upper 60s start out your day here for the start of your Tuesday. It's going to feel polar opposite to what it was this morning, not just in terms of the actual temperature, but it's going to be muggy. It's going to be feeling mild. It's going to be cloudy as well. That's something completely different of what we started out with here for your Monday morning. So that cloud cover keeping us immensely warm with the intense amount of moisture and humidity leading into that cold front that'll strike here for tomorrow morning. Then after that comes on through, go down the temperatures, back into morning lows down in the lower 50s here to start off Wednesday. And that's going to continue to slowly cruise on up back into the rest of the week here for you. But again, that's going to be a slow but gradual increase compared to the, again, just complete roller coaster between today, tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, all over the place with the temperature. So we'll keep you first alert day in, day out, obviously with the wacky temperature changes with this cold front that we have on this map here for you. Upper level pattern, again, we have a cold front coming through here for tomorrow afternoon. That's cold front number 1. Yes, we have multiple cold fronts coming through on the 7-day forecast. As I said, fall is here. In order to have fall here, we need consistent rounds of supply and supplies of cooler air into the ArkLaTex. So another supply, I guess, so to speak, of cooler air is going to come through here for tomorrow. Obviously, that does come with storms. We'll talk about that in a moment. Then round number 2 is going to come through mainly on Saturday, it looks like at this time. Another low pressure and cold front coming on through with this surge of warm, moist air coming out of the Gulf to fuel up our storms that are going to happen here locally. Now, I know what you're I do want to mention real quick, on the top right-hand side of the graphic, it'll mention Thursday through Saturday. We could get storms technically in here as early as Thursday with this system, and for a few of us. I'm expecting that mainly in pockets of the northern half of the ArkLaTex, and for Thursday and Friday before rolling into the rest of the region, and finally moving throughout the region here for Saturday, it looks like at this time. We're going to go over future tracks here in just a moment. But again, 2 cold fronts that we got to track here with chances of storms. But as I mentioned earlier, thankfully, not much in terms of severe weather as of now, what I'm seeing with the system. That includes the short term. All right, so for the rest of Monday, things are looking great. Things are looking grand. Nothing but blue skies and sunshine. The first little hints that you see of that little chance of rain potentially crawling into the ArkLaTex comes into the northern edge of the ArkLaTex there around 9-10 p.m. tonight. Looks like in McCurtain County. I know it doesn't look like much, but again, that's our cold front because it's going to start to develop and build in a lot more cloud cover here once we get into the overnight hours. And then once you wake up here for tomorrow early morning, that's when we could spark a few light rain showers. Now, we'll see exactly where this line wants to develop. Notice how it develops south of Texarkana. That's right. I don't think we have a chance of rain, actually, for Texarkana at all tomorrow. But if you're in on the I-20 corridor southward, that's where we pretty much have this chance of rain for you in store. I don't expect it to be much. As you see on the future track, it's just a little bit of, almost like a line of light rain coming through. That could give us light rain for, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour or so, just quickly for your morning commute. You might still need an umbrella, especially with some wet roadways out there. But the point is, this moves swiftly on through. By 9 a.m., this is affecting areas of Nacogdoches sent down into Natchitoches here for tomorrow morning. And by lunchtime, this is pretty much gone here for the most part around the ArkLaTex, leading into a beautiful afternoon, actually, for Tuesday. And Wednesday is looking fantastic here for the time being. Thursday, not so much. Look at that in the long-term future track here right now for you. All right, so this is all the way into Tuesday. Again, there's that little slim chance of rain creeping mainly in for the southern half of the ArkLaTex then. Once we get into Wednesday, that's looking beautiful. Let's look at the next system that's coming on by here for cold front, again, number 2. And as I mentioned, Thursday and Friday Thursday is as earliest as that rain can come in. You see a little bit of storms forming maybe near Mount Pleasant very briefly there for Thursday afternoon and for the northern half of the ArkLaTex. There for Friday, storms look to be kind of stuck and meandering around Texarkana still into Friday too, as the system kind of just lingers, just barely on the very edge or just barely into the ArkLaTex itself, essentially for Thursday and Friday. Then here comes the actual cold front finally on through after it stays stubborn for Thursday and Friday. It's going to sweep into the entire region. Look at the time frame. Saturday. Unfortunately, happening probably sometime during the weekend here for your Saturday. I know rain just happened last Saturday, so unfortunately this coming Saturday looking to maybe happen again. And especially if you're going out to a college football game this coming weekend, might have to watch out for that as well here in the process too. We'll see. We'll keep you first alert. Now, one other thing I do want to mention on this long-range future track as well, they keep their bases pretty covered here. It shows rain getting into the ArkLaTex at like 5, 6, 7 a.m. in areas around Texarkana, and then moving through Natchitoches not until Saturday night. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think this is going to be a swift-moving system, kind of to how this past weekend was, where we had the system move through from like noon into the nighttime hours. What I'm trying to get at is I think this is going to be, a quick-moving system coming on through the region. It's just one more round of storms that we unfortunately got to deal with that will likely cover everybody here for your Saturday before Sunday. Does look a lot better, actually, in the grand scheme of things. All right, so to recap, let's get some forecasts for you in store to go over some of the points that I kind of just discussed here for you. All right, here for tomorrow, temperatures upper 70s, lower 80s. Again, cooler than that of today. That'll be nice. Again, rain chance back in store here for the southern half of the ArkLaTex pretty much only. Natchitoches got a 50-50 call on some scattered showers, again, happening in the morning hours. All these storms, again, will happen tomorrow morning. Not tomorrow afternoon. Everybody's going to be clear here by the afternoon hours. Just a spotty chance at a storm, maybe across Shreveport on your morning commute only. Then for Thursday, that's our next chance of rain. Everybody's dry on Wednesday. Thursday, it's almost like flipping the script. As we saw in the future track, kind of just a few storms trying to meander around the northern end of the ArkLaTex. Some of that could get into Texarkana. Maybe Shreveport. We'll see. Probably not. I think we'll be fine on Thursday and Friday here locally in Shreveport. It's Saturday once that storm coverage comes through the entire ArkLaTex. Again, that's going to be cold front number 2, so that limits our temperatures even more. Highs are at least looking comfortable. Mid-70s, actually, for Saturday. And that's going to be favorable before they try to reach back up into the upper 70s in time for Sunday. I know I got that 20% rain chance on for Sunday. That's just in case if this timing on Saturday wants to fluctuate in the next day. But as of right now, it's almost looking like last weekend into this next upcoming weekend coming on up here for you. So watch out for that. All right, 7-day forecast here for you. 84 here today, and you don't see any other high getting up into the mid-80s. So again, today, hottest day of the work week. Hottest is going to be all week here for the day today, and that's not even saying much. Again, it's mid-80s. So a little bit of heat, but definitely not a lot. Temperatures then settle in the lower 80s starting tomorrow, and that continues for the rest of your work week. Notice those cooler mornings, especially in store once we get into Wednesday morning, and that'll continue in for a good portion here for the rest of the work week. Still getting below 60 by Friday before getting into the 60s here for the weekend. Again, 2 rounds of storms. Tuesday, going to happen in the morning hours, potentially mainly for the southern half of the ArkLaTex. End of the work week, Thursday and Friday, northern half of the ArkLaTex, but that system moves into the entire region here again for Saturday. All right, I know that was a lot to go over. I know just with multiple chances of rain, that's just a lot of fluctuating pieces, especially, again, dealing with 2 cold fronts here for this work week. That's much more compared to last week when we had a grand total of 0. So that's why our temperatures remained in the lower 90s out last week. But hey, nice supply of cooler air. Again, we didn't see any high temperatures above 90 degrees, and I still don't see that in the extended 12-day outlook here for you. So I think fall's back for good. We can settle on in. It'll be nice. Hopefully. Continue that way. Anyways, all right, thank you for joining us here for the local forecast. That's it for that, but stick around. We're not done yet. We have our exclusive content here for the day today, which deals with the tropics. I know it's the end of the season. We're trying to be done. We're being optimistic about being done. We do have one area of interest, though, to watch out for that currently has I believe, a solid chance of forming, actually. We'll break that system down, see where it's going to go, see how strong it could get as well. Coming up in our exclusive content here for First Alert with a Breakdown. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Be right back after this. Welcome on back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Oh, man. You're going to need some water out there for the day today. Actually, forgot to bring mine over into the desk. But anyways, especially with a little bit of heat, again, in store here for the day today. But we're mainly talking about the tropics. We're getting into fall here locally in the ArkLaTex, which usually means, hey, tropic season is finally winding down. And must I say, just real quick before we get into what's going on currently in our tropic situation, it has been a pleasant year with the tropics here locally. We have not had anything even coming close to us in the ArkLaTex, which has been phenomenal. You remember last year, unfortunately, we had 2 systems hit the ArkLaTex. I believe it was Francine that gave us a full day of rain in September, but obviously the infamous Beryl was the one that actually gave us the tornado warnings back last July and made a mark on, honestly, so many communities across the ArkLaTex. I believe it's still the count immense. 43 confirmed tornadoes in a single day here in the ArkLaTex back in early July of last year. The point is, we haven't seen anything like that this year, anything even coming close to it. We haven't even seen a major hurricane making any kind of landfall, or any hurricane at all making landfall on the actual mainland of the United States, which has been great. Let's keep it up that way. Again, it's still not the end of the season just yet, but I will say things have been looking good here overall. So we're keeping your first alert eye on the tropics, especially because, again, the season's not done yet. Although I will say, I think we're only going to do this segment. I know we've been doing this segment now like once per week to definitely keep track on it, especially during the peak of the season, the peak of the season goes until the end of October, basically Halloween. Halloween is now next Friday, not this coming Friday, the following Friday. So we're getting there. We're getting there. All right. We're just about almost in the clear, but that's what I'm trying to get at. Not quite yet. So we'll probably have these weekly tropics updates for you, at least for this week, obviously now, and then one more heading into next week in the process, too. And again, there's not too much to go over on the grand scheme of things. Let's show you exactly how close we are here to the end of the season. There's a look at what's going on for our season here overall. Obviously, the peak of the month's going between August 1st and November 1st, and it is, again, October 20th. So getting close to the finish line, just not there yet, and with the temperatures still in the Gulf above 80 degrees, still technically anything could form there. Given the warmth of the Gulf itself is able to suffice a tropical system if it were to form out in that area. All right. So again, not only in the Gulf as well, but technically in the Atlantic as well. All right, here is our tropical development map. There is no current named storm in the Atlantic here at this hour, which is good news. But again, we're keeping you first alert about this system here. Again, just so you know, I've been so busy with the rounds of rain here locally and the temperature swings here locally in the ArkLaTex that I didn't even have enough time to be able to go into this in an actual show. So this is exclusive to the first alert with a breakdown again. One area of interest that we are tracking here at this hour, and you look at its chances of formation, it has a pretty good chance of forming. 80% chance, as this is likely to form probably in the next, somewhere between the next day to 3 days. This is currently, where this is positioned is at this X mark. We'll take a thorough look at what it looks like currently on our satellite picture here in just a moment, but this is likely to continue on westward into the Caribbean Sea, and usually in any type of season, this would mean bad news, because everything in the Caribbean is kind of a gateway into the Gulf. But thankfully, that does not appear to be the case with this system, which is good news. Now, the area of interest in question is right over here, actually, at this hour. It's right where my blue arrow is. That's our area of interest. If you look anywhere around there, though, complete serene, barely anything across the whole across the whole Atlantic. Oh, man, my geography way off there. Across the whole Atlantic, everything is nice and clear here. There, also, if you look further on to the east side of this area of interest, there is not much that's trying to form at all behind the system at all. Also, Gulf itself, clear as can be. Look at these clear skies. Not only across the mainland of the United States, but the Gulf, nothing. No convection touching that whatsoever. All right, so this is our area of interest. Again, moving westward into the Caribbean. Now, this is technically already what we call an invest. An invest is something from the National Hurricane Center that essentially can form into a tropical. It has a little tiny area of circulation. It has enough potential to be able to become a tropical system in the near-term future. When the National Hurricane Center essentially puts an invest on a area of interest like this, That's how they're able to actually track it, and most importantly, they're able to put spaghetti models for it. So even though there's not a forecast cone that exists for it yet, there's what we call spaghetti models, which is essentially the various different weather models having different ideas about where this area of interest could go. So again, there it is. It's in between South America and the Caribbean Highlands as of right now, moving due westward. And in due time, as this moves westward, this is the grand finale of things. Where is this going? So beyond where it goes here into the Caribbean Sea, where does it go from there? Well, that question remains to be determined, because look at these spaghetti models. If you'll notice, most of them are going in different various directions. Some of them are stalling out on the Caribbean islands, such as the TVCN, the HWRF, or if you look at the CNC, some of them are making landfall on Central America, actually. Now, believe it or not, if you look at CLB5, I would not in fact, I meant to take that one off, but I would not trust that weather model at all. It's not been good at all this season in terms of accuracy, which is good news. The point what I'm trying to get at is this is either going straight into Central America and just going straight due. If I can go backward. There we go. It's a little hard on the reverse of the camera here. This is either going westward directly into Central America, or this is going to peel off like the HWRF, or what we call the H-Wharf. It's gonna slowly meander around the Caribbean Highlands and then completely veer off and go north and east from there, affecting no one else except for the Caribbean Highlands. So this could be a Caribbean problem, especially with heavy rain. This could be a named system before it reaches the Caribbean Islands. Maybe even a hurricane, we'll see. But the point at which this doesn't affect anybody else. This would affect the Caribbean Islands, if anybody, but nobody else across the region at all. So the point is, this is not only affecting, it is not, let me rephrase that one more. It's not affecting the ArkLaTex, and it's not affecting the U.S. mainland. There we go. That's what I was trying to say all along. So, again, it's moving either into Central America and affecting them, or it's moving into the Caribbean Islands and then completely veering off coast and going further out into the Atlantic. The last graphic I have for you, tropics-wise, is this future track here to kind of confirm that here. Look at that big ball of red. That's what you're staring at there. That's that area of interest. You can look everywhere else. Everything else is pretty quiet, tropic-wise. But obviously, this future track has it slowly meandering out westward. And this is, again, just one model of many that has this system moving on forward. And it kind of has it almost stalling out. And this model in particular looks like it has it slowly veering off into Central America. Now, once it veers into Central America, it would fizzle out along there. Obviously, give it lots of heavy rain, lots of tropical impacts to Central America, which is, yes, bothersome for them, but not for us and not for the United States, which is obviously important to us. So the point is, this tropical area of interest, again, affects nobody across the United States, including us here in the ArkLaTex, which is best of news. Again, let's keep it that way for the rest of the season. Hopefully that remains the case. It's looking good. It's looking good. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for fall. It's great. It's grand. I'm happy. Hopefully you are too. That's our first Low Weather Breakdown podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. I do want to wave hi to Karen, who did send out a chat out into the YouTube chat. Hello. I hope you're still watching. I know you probably sent that comment way long ago, but if you're still watching, hey, I appreciate it always. I appreciate anybody for watching the first Low Weather Breakdown. For tomorrow's episode, we're talking a lot more about fall itself. I know we talked about tropics outside of the ArkLaTex, but we always want to keep an eye on that to make sure it's always the fact that we're still good to go, obviously during the peak of the season. Tomorrow we're going to be talking a lot more about fall. We're going to be talking about fall leaves, and we'll see how close the fall leaves are getting into the ArkLaTex. We'll see more on that, and we'll also see if the fall weather is actually legitimately sticking around, which as of this point, it looks like it is. But we'll kind of confirm that in our full 12-day forecast. We're going to go over that a little more thoroughly here on tomorrow's First Alert with a Breakdown podcast. As for me, again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Thank you very much for joining me here for the day today. Hope you have a great sunny Monday. Enjoy the sunshine before. Got a little hair chance of rain here for you in store here for tomorrow on your Tuesday. Watch out for that, especially in the morning hours. All right? Oh, enjoy the fall-like weather. Hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. I'm all smiles, even for a Monday. Hopefully you are too. It's a good Monday. Have a good day. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow, 10:30. Same time, same place. Be there. Be square. Most importantly, stay weather aware. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.